welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well, at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, episode 526 of Rams Up. Rams getting ready for this Cardinals game in Arizona on Sunday. I'll share as much as I know on the injury front. It might be easier just to tell you who is unscathed, who is good to go. Read off that list instead of the injured guys. No. What I really need to find out is how this offensive line is going to shape up. Kevin Dotson day to day. They added Jerron Christian and Ty Nsekhe. They poached Dylan McMahon off the Eagles practice squad. Is A.J. Curry going to get another shot over there on the left side against a fairly average, dare I say, mediocre Cardinal defensive line? What does it mean with Puka out? I think it means Tyler Johnson's going to be getting a lot of snaps, but Jordan Whittington is going to get his opportunities too. I'm actually kind of excited to see what this offense can do, especially from the skill positions. And remember, Kyron Williams, he really tore up this Arizona defense twice last year. I'm going to be sharing my Rams-Cardinals preview tomorrow in the next drop. But injury-wise, man, there's just a lot of moving parts. Kobe Durant, can he go? Ahkello Witherspoon waiting in the wings there. Can big Rob Havenstein go? If he can't, a bunch of dominoes are going to fall. Warren McClendon has to stay at right tackle. If Kevin Dotson can't go, do you move A.J. or Curry to right guard? Oh, man, there's a lot of options here. And, Logan Bruss, he could become a factor, especially if Havenstein can't go. If Dotson and Havenstein can both go, man, this offensive line will be in at least okay shape for one game. So I hope. I know that's a lot. And, hey, if you're a Rams fan, you know what this all means and you know how complicated this is. Not knowing who's going to be good to go and who isn't. But here is your Thursday afternoon injury report for our Los Angeles Rams. Tight end Davis Allen did not participate. Kevin Dotson and Kobe Durant did not participate. Rob Havenstein, limited. Christian Roseboom, limited. And Quentin Lake, limited with a hip injury. We'll know a lot more Friday afternoon, and I'll include that information in my Rams-Cardinals preview if possible. What I do have this episode is my game picks, as shared on the YouTube channel, my Rams Up Straight Up game picks. We'll get to that in a second. And I wanted to divert to college football. Hey, let's get our minds off all these injuries for a few minutes and talk about the Pac-12. The Pac-12 may survive after all. It's going to be quite different. The Pac-12 is going to be adding probably the top 4 Mountain West football schools. Joining Oregon State and Washington State will be Boise State. They have a great history there. San Diego State, man, they have had their moments as well. The Colorado State Rams and Fresno State, all joining the Pac-12 in 2 years. So what they need to do is add 2 more teams to become a FBS conference. And where are those 2 teams going to come from? I'm not sure. And good thing for the Mountain West is they will still be a FBS school because having 12 teams, losing 4, they stick at 8. Would the Pac-12 make a run at 2 more teams from the Mountain West? That would kind of suck, wouldn't it? But they may do that. Who are the candidates? Well, who are the other teams in the Mountain West? You got San Jose State, Hawaii, Nevada, Air Force, UNLV, Wyoming, Utah State, and New Mexico. None of them really excite me. Probably too late to go after 4 teams that join the Big 12. That would be Arizona State, Arizona, Utah, and Colorado. Those 2 Arizona schools would have fit perfectly. And BYU, another Big 12 team. That would be a good target. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying any of those teams would be interested. But this is what is in the Pac-12's favor. They have a pretty big war chest. Oregon State and Washington State. Those other teams left, and they decided to leave. That was their decision. And apparently there's a lot of contractual money, a lot of cash still in hand, in pocket for those two schools. So these Mountain West teams, they're going to have to pay a penalty, and same for any potential Big 12 teams. The Pac-12, Oregon State, and Washington State can actually help pay those penalties, paving the way for these teams to move over to the new Pac-12. Kind of exciting. I mean, this is not going to be a top-notch conference, but still kind of cool. The Pac-12 lives on. Let's get on to my Rams Up Straight Up game picks for week 2.
If you're a facilities manager at a warehouse and your HVAC system goes down, it can turn up the heat, literally. But don't sweat it, Granger has you covered. Granger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products for all your operations, including warehouse HVAC maintenance. And even better, they offer access to experts and fast delivery, so you and your warehouse can both keep your cool. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, time for our Rams Up Straight Up game picks. We're going to make our week 2 picks here. Before we get started, as I said, I'll be comparing to the CBS expert Pete Prisco just for fun, see if I can hang with him, picking games straight up. How did we do last week? Both of us 10 correct and 6 wrong. We both picked against the Steelers, Falcons, and Vikings, and I picked the Cardinals, Rams, and Ravens. He picked the Packers, Colts, and Jags. So those are the other 3 games each of us got wrong. So we both come out of it 10 and 6. And I make my picks before I look at Pete's picks. I've already made my picks. I've already circled the winners, and I went and looked at what Pete is selecting this week. And we have 5 games we're picking differently. So let's take a look at these week 2 games. First one on the table Thursday night. Bills at the Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 1.5. You know, Josh Allen, he carried the Bills last week, rallied to beat the Cardinals. Dolphins found themselves behind the Jags as well, and they rallied to win. So 2 teams with a 1-0 record. And, you know, I'm taking the Dolphins here straight up. I think they'll cover as well. They are the better team right now. Bills have the better quarterback. Other than that, edge Dolphins. Dolphins take the win. Big AFC East game early in the season. Very important game. Next up, Raiders at the Ravens. Ravens favored by 9.5. Not going to spend a lot of time on this one. Taking the Ravens to win straight up. And I don't know if they're going to cover, though. I think the Raiders will put up a fight. Their defense is fairly solid, so it could be a little bit closer than that, but Ravens take the win. I'm taking the Chargers on the road over the Panthers. I don't know how you can pick the Panthers against anybody at this point, even at home. And the Chargers, I think they're going to win ugly, win kind of old school fashion under their new coach, and they'll win this game. And this is the type of game in years past they probably would have lost, but taking the Chargers here. Now, the next game, Saints at the Cowboys. And it's interesting. These are 2 teams I don't know what to make of their wins last week. The Saints hammered the Panthers, who we just talked about, and the Cowboys hammered the Browns, who, you know, they have some issues too. So how good are these 2 teams? Cowboys at home, favored by 6.5. I'll take the Cowboys. Next up, this is a tough game to pick for me. Bucks at the Lions. Lions favored by 7. That seems a little much. I think the Bucks will cover, but I'm still going to take the Lions. I'm wondering if the Rams tipped off some other teams on how to defend that Lions passing game. Maybe they're not going to learn how to defend the Lions running game, the rush game, especially if it gets into overtime. But Lions are the slightly better team here. I love the way Baker Mayfield is playing. Is Baker Mayfield a better quarterback than Jared Goff? I have to think about that. I think Hey, I've always been a big fan of Jared Goff, but he doesn't have that moxie, that a guy like Baker Mayfield has. That's probably the difference. But taking the Lions there, Colts at the Packers. Packers at home, favored by 3.5 without Jordan Love. Malik Willis making the start. Yeah, you know what? The Colts are a pretty good football team. Jonathan Taylor, Anthony Richardson, they're both going to roll. Richardson, still a very inexperienced quarterback, but he's going to do some damage on the ground. Taking the Colts, I guess we're calling that an upset. I don't think it's much of an upset, though. Browns at the Jags. Jags favored by 3.5. And, I underestimated them. Someone told me on last week's picks that I was dead wrong. The Jags were going to beat the Dolphins, and they almost did. The Browns, aside from their defense, they really play that well against the Cowboys. The quarterback situation there, I don't know, man. I'll take the Jags. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. 49ers at the Vikings. Vikings favored by 6. Man, they looked really good. I don't know if McCaffrey's going to be back. I don't know if it's going to matter that much. The Vikings will make a game of this, and Pete's actually picking the Vikings. It's one of the games that we're different on, that we're picking opposite teams here. But I'm not picking against the 49ers after what I saw Monday night, taking the 49ers to win. I think the Vikings will make it very, very interesting, though. Sam Darnold going against his old team. Seahawks favored on the road by 3 at New England, and Pete and I are both taking the Patriots. And this is, the Seahawks are such a weird team. I think thought it was maybe just under Russell Wilson, or maybe it was a Pete Carroll thing, but we saw it again last week. I think the Patriots win this one, though. They're a team kind of like, I think there's some similarities between the Patriots and the Chargers. They're just, and maybe the Steelers are in that same category, just teams that figure it out, old school football, old school coaches, and a little bit of smash mouth, not necessarily electric offenses for any of these three teams, but they find ways to win, and that's what the Patriots will do against the Seahawks. The Jets at the Titans. Jets favored by 4, and another game so early, these early season games, what do we make of the Jets against the 49ers? How much weight do you put on that? Aaron Rodgers looked pretty good at times. I think him and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, there's not many teams that have 3 skill players like that. I'm taking the Jets to win on the road. Giants at the Commanders. Commanders favored by 2.5. I think the difference here is kind of sounds funny, but I think the difference here is the quarterback side. Jaden Daniels, he can make things happen. None of these rookie quarterbacks really showed that well, but I still think Jaden Daniels has a chance to do some damage in more ways than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a guy that I think he's been unfairly criticized, disrespected, but it wasn't pretty last week. And these are probably my number 30 and 31 ranked teams in the league facing off. One of them is going to come out of it with a 1-1 record, and I think it's going to be the Commanders. Bengals at the Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 6 at home. I think the Bengals will bounce back. They're another team that, surprises you early in the year, and then at some point surprises you in a bad way, and then finally find their footing. I don't think they're going to find their footing in this game, though. Chiefs get the win and move to 2-0. Steelers -3 at Denver. I was originally going to pick Denver in this, take the home team. 2 teams that don't have a lot of offense. Bo Nix versus Justin Fields, apparently. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one. Flip a coin. You know how you want it to land while it's in the air. And I guess I want it to land heads for Steelers. Steelers take the win on the road. Bears at the Texans. Texans favored by 6.5. I think they are going to fluster and harass Caleb Williams all day long. And CJ Stroud and those receivers, man, pretty special group. they get the win at home, move to 2-0. The Falcons at the Eagles. Eagles favored by 6.5 at home. A lot of love for the Falcons. And like I said, it was all about their schedule. I don't think they're really that good of a football team. And they could end up 0-2 out of the gate here. And I think that's what's going to happen. Eagles move to 2-0. Falcons fall to 0-2. And then our final game, and you know who I'm picking, Rams at the Cardinals. When was the last time the Cardinals were favored in a game against the Rams? They're favored by 1 at what I saw this morning. And I don't think that's going to change with we get a new injury report on the Rams like every half hour, it seems like. Cardinals favored again. It's just hard to even say that. Cardinals favored over the Rams. I'm guessing it's been 5 or 6 years since that's happened. I don't know if that's happened in the McVay era. There was one game, I think the Rams were really beat up and playing a backup quarterback, and they lost, I think, late in the year. Might have been one of those games that the Cardinals were favored more recently. But I'm taking the Rams. They, even with all the guys injured, as I said in the roundtable, they have the better team, the better roster, the better quarterback. It's just a matter of if they can just find 5 guys up front on offense that can just play okay, play like NFL offensive linemen for 3 hours, we'll be okay and we'll win this game. So those are my picks. My week 2 Rams Up Straight Up picks. Pete and I 10-6 going into this week, and we'll check in next week, see how I did. Have a good feeling about this. There's a few odd games that I'm kind of on the fence with, but there you have it, out here from Rams Up. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.